How's Nick? We're going to just give it a minute or so to allow all the attendees to start coming in. We've had an unreal response to this webinar. So yeah, give it a second. Sure, already 60 people in. Unreal. Amazing. I've actually never had a webinar with so many registrations. Not going to lie.
72, 77, 80. Wow.
Wow, guys, over 100 people now. Amazing. Okay, let's kick it off. People will start coming in as we go along. Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Renier Lombard. I'm the MD of FTC and one of the co-founders of the Lekker Network. Allow me to introduce Nic Latouf, also one of the co-founders of the Lekker Network, the original ideation man behind this initiative. And thank you very much for attending this webinar and actually spending a bit of time with us. We're going to do our very best to answer as many questions as possible. A lot of you have submitted pre-submission questions, which we'll go through as they've come in, and then we are going to take some live questions. So if you would like to go onto the Q&A, ask a question, we'll start attending to those after the session, and we're going to also get Mr. Bruce Whitfield to join us. He's probably going to join us about midway through the session. But Nick, how epic is this? This is just, you know, when I saw this first come out, there was probably the beginning of the year, or was it towards the end of last year? You announced this to the world on your LinkedIn. I think, you know, just for everyone here and all the attendees and participants, let's paint the journey. Let's take about 5 minutes or so to paint in the journey as to how we actually got to this room and why we're actually here. So, Nick, I mean, how did you come up with this idea? Why did this come to you? I mean, it's been quite a journey since then, yeah.
So good to be here, and like you say, absolutely surreal. You know, and as we talk, I just see more and more participants joining this webinar. So what happened was, you know, I remember that movement that I have a lot of respect for, called I'm Staying, and you know, something that I thought a lot about. And you know, many South Africans have that mindset of, you know, almost 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Do I stay? Do I go? You know, for the last couple of years. And that movement was a huge movement and it exploded. But I always used to think to myself, as much as I understood it and I loved it, I also thought, you know, there's nothing wrong with South Africans who move abroad, because all it does is it creates a bigger network of South Africans everywhere. And it's not always about South Africa, it's about South Africans that carry South Africa globally. And how amazing would it be, you know, and this was something that I always had in the back of my mind, how amazing would it be if we could connect everybody, because you'll find South Africans in every corner of the world.
Yep.
And I know that for a fact. And how amazing would it be if you could connect South Africans all around the world to create opportunities for each other? So at the beginning of the year, I was in a really good mood. I remember it was after a really good December holiday, and I was feeling happy. And I thought, let me post on LinkedIn about the way I feel right now about South Africa. And I posted a post that said, South Africans are South Africa's best export. And the post exploded, way more than I thought. I mean, every time I looked at my phone, there was another 100 people reacting to the post. But it wasn't just about, you know, what was happening on the post. It was more about the messages that I started getting from South Africans everywhere, locally and abroad. And I thought this is really interesting, and I'm going to follow this, you know, this narrative for a couple of days. And so I started posting a little bit more about South Africans being South Africa's best exports, and talking a little bit about these stories about South Africans that have done well, and not the known stories, but the unknown stories, which I'm really fascinated. And every time I would post, I would just get these incredible messages from people around the world. And people and the sentiment wasn't just, I agree with you. It was, I love what you're saying. How can I help? There were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people who were messaging me from around the world. I'm talking about guys in Dubai, Australia, New Zealand, the US, South America, saying to me, we love what you're saying. How can we help? And I explored some of those conversations, and and I jumped on some Zoom calls, and I realized that a lot of these people that reached out saying, how can we help, had a lot of influence. Guys in the US who would say, listen, we have money, we have distribution, we have network, we have pretty much everything that you need. Connect us to South Africans that need help with their companies. And so in the background, I started doing a little bit of connecting, etc. And that was, and when I started doing that, that got to the point where I realized, I needed your help because I couldn't keep up with the 60, 70 messages that were coming in every day. And people started finding my phone number and started WhatsApping me. So not just on LinkedIn, they started WhatsApping me, wanting to get involved and wanting help with their business and wanting to help other businesses. And it really exploded to the point where, I phoned you one day and I said to you, like, Renier, I know you've seen, what's happening with us on LinkedIn. At that time, there wasn't even a name. I know you've seen what's happening on LinkedIn. Like, I need help, please. Like, if there's anybody that understands this, it's you. And that's where, we had that amazing conversation just before you left for Japan.
Yeah, I remember that day. I've seen this on your LinkedIn. Obviously, I was following it and I was like, oh, this is a gorgeous idea. Absolutely gorgeous. Because, we built quite a sizable business here in South Africa that a lot of South Africans get hired, but majority of our business is international. 80% are international clients. And half of those clients are South African, believe it or not. So when I saw this happening, I was like, I'm pure example of what it could look like, where you have international clients, South Africans doing business with each other. And when the concept came out, I was blown away. This is amazing. So I actually was going to call you, but you beat me to the punch. I'm not gonna lie. And I remember it was the day before I was about to fly to my honeymoon in Japan. And you said, Renier, I need help. Please, can you guys come on board? And I said, Nic, this sounds absolutely fantastic. There was very little convincing to do. And I said, I'm in, let's do it. I can't do it for the next 2 weeks. I will be back. So, and during that time in Japan, as much as it was amazing, I was just thinking about the Lekker Network all the time. Don't let my wife hear me say that. It's one of those things where I'm so excited to come back and actually work on this project. From there, it's been a whirlwind of things that we've done. When I came on board with Nic and the other co-founders, we said to everyone, we want to build this in public. We want to show everyone from the beginning how we've done it, what we've done. It's not going to be perfect by any means. It's not going to be a polished product to begin with, but the train is moving. It's left the station. We have a mission, we have an obligation, we have a responsibility to actually get this live and actually get it functionable for not just us, but for the broader South Africa and South Africans around the world. So that's why I jumped on, and the building public strategy is very, very key to this, to be very transparent, and also to show everyone how we've done it, to document it as well. At the end of the day, we'll put together a full case study as to how we launched this initiative, how we had the founding members help us do this. And it's going to be one of those things that we could potentially give this to other countries to use. That's just very future thinking. But let's get this one working first. Yeah.
And as we've said many times, Renier, is, throughout the years, many people have tried to create a network of South Africans. And the fact that we're getting it right, I think, has got a lot to do with timing, has got a lot to do with a bunch of elements. But the time is right for something like this. And I think every single South African feels it. There's a large, exciting world out there. And there's no reason for any of us to play small. And there's enough, as you always say, and it's one of the reasons why I love working with you, is there's more than enough business for everybody.
Most definitely.
Exactly.
Most definitely.
And it is all about network. And that's also something that, a vision that, or a narrative that you and I share is it's about community, and it's about network, and it's about audience. And, we're creating something that can accelerate that for a lot of people, where they're able to plug into a network that has shared values, where everybody understands each other, because of our shared heritage, no matter who we are, and no matter where in the world you are.
Yeah.
I got a message from somebody this morning who was talking about, I can't remember the country they're in, but they're in a tiny country in the middle of nowhere. And they realized how important it is, to have a network, and how amazing it was to just connect with a few South Africans that were in this country, that accelerated their entire business and their entire, being over there.
Most definitely. I spoke to a founding member yesterday in the States, and he was telling me, I love being in the States, but I miss being around people that think like me, because people there don't think like him, because he grew up in South Africa, in Cape Town. He spent a majority of his life here, and he misses that. And he feels that there's this worldwide movement of South Africans getting together and actually just, contributing and supporting each other. It's very key. I've got a firm belief that one relationship can change your life in business. That one relationship is pivotal to a lot of us sitting here and watching. We have key people in our lives. So network is something exceptionally, it's probably the most important thing in your business career, in your professional career. It's who you know, it's who you can help as well. So this is really to try and create an environment for our members to engage, to play, to make friends, to find those partners, to find those key individuals that they can work with, and that one relationship could change their life. And I think if we can try and achieve that, we're going to have something quite amazing here. Nic, let's jump into the questions. I think everyone's super keen to jump into it. Guys, thanks very much. We're going to go through quite a few. Please do submit questions. We'll be answering them a little bit later as well from a live perspective. But I guess, just to start off with, Kimmel's asked, what is the objectives, the vision for this? Nic, I'm gonna give this one to you to answer, as you were the original, the original founder of this and vision. Go for it.
Sure. I think there are a lot of layers to what the vision is and to what the end product is going to be. And there's going to be a lot of unfolding as we go through the next couple of months where we see opportunities, and, we build this together with the members, and we build this together with South Africans and people to come to us with ideas. But essentially, it is about creating a network of South Africans locally and abroad to connect, to allow opportunities to flow. Not just opportunities in business, but also sharing of knowledge, sharing of opportunities, jobs. Not everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody wants to start a business. But we're also looking at plugging in, job opportunities. I've personally had, since I started talking about the Lekker Network on LinkedIn, I've had many really interesting people reach out to me, non-South Africans, who had opportunities, across Dubai, across the US, wanting South Africans to raise their hands and jump into those opportunities. So it really is, the vision really is a network of opportunity that revolves around knowledge sharing, revolves around community, revolves around jobs, and revolves around business.
Beautiful. I think also one of the other founding members I spoke to, their company hires 600 South Africans in South Africa. They're based in the UK, and their sole mission in the next 3 to 4 years is to double that figure, is to get double the amount of South Africans being hired here onshore, contributing to the local economy, but then doing all the work in Europe and the States for that company, that's a perfect scenario of what this could look like. South Africa, if I'm correct, I could be wrong, contributes only 1% to the world's GDP. We're quite a small economy, right? And we do have a massive unemployment, issue here, but our talent is so amazing. South African talent is, in my opinion, probably some of the best in the world. So why not? I mean, why not use South Africans? We're going to be flying this South African flag around the world to promote South Africa as a destination, not just for our expatriates or our external staffers to use us more, but individuals to consider South Africa as a place to set up shop. That's also going to be very key. I think the flying of the flag around, and it's going to be one of those things that we're going to be doing. Great. Let's do another question. I think, we've answered the mission and vision. Also, that's also going to unfold, right? So the one thing I did say to a lot of the founding members and why we've done this, we don't exactly know 100% what the final product's going to look like. We're only going to be launching this officially March 2025. That's when the broader public can start coming in and starting to become members. And the next few months is literally going to be build months. It's going to be creation months. We're going to be sitting with the founding members now at the moment to understand strategy and vision and what they feel they would like to see. We're going to go and do a lot of research as to how it should look like, and take from a lot of the other networks that have been produced, the EO models, the YPO models, the ones that are really successful, and maybe put a bit of a South African flair to it. Something that resonates with us and really talks to our culture and our spirit. Great. Lovely. There's a question here from Andrew. What's the strategy to ensure the founding members, ambassadors are diverse representation of South Africa? Fantastic question. I'll go ahead and answer this. Now, as much as we can just create the environment for people to come and use, we can't really force people to become members or to use it. We will just make sure that we try our very best to make sure that there is a very little barrier to entry. Once it launches, there is going to be various tiers that everyday South Africans can actually join. And if they want to join, they're very welcome to. This is not there's no segregation here. It's open to everyone. We will have certain tiers that you'd have to have, certain criteria to join, but it's purely business-wise. So we're going to try and just make sure that the environment is as accepting and, just non-judgmental as possible. That's what we can promise. And, if you guys keep us accountable, we're very, very happy to do that. But that's all we can do for now. We'll obviously push for that, but it's a very big, I would say, criteria that we're always thinking of, because we are a diverse nation and needs to be complete diverse. Fantastic. Yes,
I agree with it. And if I can add to that, I think that it would be great if our founding members and our members in the future can help us with that. Bring in as diverse a community as possible. Don't let it be solely on our shoulders. Let's all get involved and let's all make it what it can be. So I think everybody can play a role in that.
Most definitely. Fantastic. And it's going to be developed and explored as we go along. When we launch, in the first year is very much built. Not everything's going to be ready when we launch. And I said this to all the founding members and the co-founders that in March, and this is maybe answering a few questions as well, we're going to be having a launch event. Doesn't matter what it looks like, we're going to launch. It's going to happen. We're not going to make this absolutely perfect to launch, because then we'll never launch, right? I'm a very firm believer and advocate for take action and things will follow. So we're just going to execute. We're going to take action. We're going to have the launch. It will be at a point that it'll be able to accept members, and we're going to do quite a few events, but we're going to be building it out as we go along. So it might not be a perfect polished product, but there will be a launch. We don't know exactly the date yet. We will send out that date to everyone when we confirm it. And yes, it will be in Cape Town, the launch event. We will try and do a few others around the world, but Cape Town is going to be the main, because I think this is where it was birthed, and we're going to hold it here. Fantastic. Great. Let's look at another question. Are you merely looking at SA to international routes or supporting businesses, or are you also looking to support SA-owned businesses with each foreign country? It's a good question. We're trying to support South Africans, right? And at the same time, South Africa as a whole. So if there are companies that are offshore that are run by South Africans, those are companies that we're going to try and support. It's not just because you're in South Africa. It's for South Africans that are all over. So it's not just here in South Africa. Fantastic. Can you please explain the difference between a founding membership and a normal membership? Nic, I'm going to give you that one to answer.
Sure. So it's pretty simple. The founding members are the first cohort of members that are coming in, paying the membership fee, which is allowing us to build this initial phase of the business. And those 250 members will always be considered the founding members, because they were the first to take the leap with us. And everybody outside of the 250 will be considered members of the Lekker Network. But we branded it founding members because those are the initial cohort that jumped on board with us initially.
I'll just have to correct Nic. We're only doing 200 max, Nic, not 250. I think it's too many people. But also we might actually do a little bit less than that. I'm going to give a great where we are at the moment. I think we're at about 130 members as it stands that have said yes, they want to come online. And we've just crossed the 2.7 million Rand in founding membership fees that we've generated, which is unreal. I mean, the community really came together for this, I must say. And I think there's a few questions around how that's going to be spent and stuff, and we'll answer that. But if we do get to our initial goal was 3 million Rand as a capital budget to use for the first year of operations, and once we hit that, we're going to start looking at maybe capping the membership fees or the membership amount. So if you haven't become a member yet, please, if you would like to become a member, wonderful. We'd love to have you part of that. But if it's not right for right now, then our membership tiers are going to be open in March next year. Fantastic. Let's get into another question. Cool. How can normal South Africans who love our country get involved and be part of it, but can't afford the member rate just yet? How can they get involved?
So, yeah, I mean, it's something that we're very, very, very aware of. And as we said, this is a network for everybody. There are going to be different tiers, which we're working on in the background. We haven't completely solved it just yet. But there is going to be a tier for everybody. So there will be place and room for everybody. Whether it be 100 Rand a month, whether it be signing up to a really interesting newsletter, all the way through to much higher end tiers, there will be, during the course of the first part of next year, a tier for everybody to be involved in the Lekker Network.
Yeah, fabulous. Yeah, very good. I mean, if you want to support us now, a simple like, a simple share, a simple mention of the Lekker Network is very much amazing. Like if you can do that for us, that's awesome. I don't expect everyone to join this to begin with. The founding membership is purely to have a contained group of individuals help us with the vision and the mission and to execute the actual build of the network. So that's why we've really done it. I also said to the co-founders of this when we started that we're not going to go the VC and angel route to start this. And there's a few reasons why. We've done that in the past. We've been able to get funding for some startups. And with any funding, it comes with strings attached, stipulations, and there could be a biased way of how we create this. We didn't want that at all. We wanted this to be a situation where the members build it for themselves and they have a voice with how this gets created. This is not a network for Renier or for the Nics of the world. We're not the ones that are going to be the ultimate sayers behind this. All we can do is we can bring it to market, we can action it, but the members are going to be the ones that are going to create it in their vision. So we wanted a good, diverse amount of members, 100 plus, 150, nearly 200 people, to really add to this. How would they like to see it? What areas of the network do they want to see activated? How do we want to run the local chapters? So these are all questions that we're going to be asking in the focus groups and the strategy sessions. And it gives the founding members an opportunity, a seat at the table to have a voice. And that's what we wanted. We wanted the community to put up their hand and contribute to it. And then whatever amount of money we make from the founding membership is going to go right back into the creation of this. The website, the logo, the initial employees. We've just hired our first dedicated resource in the network, employee number 1. I'll do a post on that on LinkedIn in the next few days, so watch out for that. But that's what it's going to be used for. And whatever's left over, we're going to be putting it back into creating custom software maybe later on. So this is purely to get it created. And I think this is why it's working. We're treating this like a business because it should be used as a business, and that's going to create it. This is not a charity by any means. We want to make sure that it is a profitable business, but that profit is used correctly and it gets reinvested into the network. It reinvests into the startups, reinvest as a fund, maybe as an accelerator, and that's maybe later on. But we'll decide what that looks like, and there'll be an investment committee and certain things that actually use that money wisely for the network and South Africa and South Africans as a whole. So we need to treat it as a business. We need to make sure that there's enough capital to get it going, because everything costs money, from legal stuff to websites to time. It does cost, unfortunately. But I think I've answered quite a few questions there. Fantastic. Cool. Let's go into one more. There is a question about where is the Lekker Network registered? So this is a good question. When we first came together as co-founders, we were looking all over the world. Where should this be registered, right? From an IP perspective, from a legal perspective, from a tax perspective, because to be honest, we could register this in Mauritius, in London, in the United States, and it's quite easy to do that, right? But I think from a consensus perspective, we decided it has to be South Africa. And there's a few reasons for that. We want to keep it, whatever money this makes comes back to South Africa. It adds to the tax base here in South Africa. We hire South Africans that are going to be working on the network here in the country. So that's where we wanted to keep it. And yes, it is registered as a PTY here in South Africa. And yeah, I think it was a good decision, Nic. We don't want to externalize this at the moment. We want to keep it here in the country. Fantastic. Cool. Let's have a look. There's another question. Will you consider forming subcommittees, work streams to ensure that there's a wide variety of diverse opportunities? Some focus on target objectives. Some people are looking for partners, investors, jobs, clients, friends. Yes. So we are going to set up sub forums, if you had to call it, within the community that are unique to certain things. I had a conversation with a gentleman this morning about he specializes in taking products into Africa. So local and international products. So there could be an FMCG sector that people deal with and engage with. There could be a professional services sector. There could be an education sector. So these are the things that we're going to be looking at creating and making sure that they are these subcommittees to put into it. Great. I'm going to take one or two live questions, Nic. So I think, yeah, Samantha asked, when is our first physical event? That's going to be in March 2025. The exact date yet to be confirmed. We will send that out to everyone. So that I know there's a lot of people that want to actually come down for that. A lot of our international members want to fly down for that event. I suspect there'll be quite a few hundred people at the event. So we're going to make sure that we have a proper setup and it's going to be done correctly. Great. What will the member fee look like outside the funding membership and corporate member fees? I think, yeah, I'll speak for myself and Nic. We don't know yet, to be honest. We don't know what all these other tiers are going to look like, what we're going to charge. This is why we're doing the founding membership, and then also working with our founding members to decide what that's going to look like. There will be a potential free tier for individuals, and then it'll be staggered as we go along, depending on what kind of criteria you're looking for. Yeah, fantastic. Any question here that speaks out to you, Nic?
I actually can't see the questions, funnily enough.
Okay, there's a Q&A if you click at the bottom. I'll read out a question for you. Okay. How can founding members contribute to your vision? From Michelle.
Yes, what was really interesting is that we saw over the last couple of days on, so everybody on the webinar that's not a founding member, all the founding members are on a WhatsApp group currently, having discussions, and a lot of those discussions are around how they can help build the Lekker Network. And it's not something, and what's interesting is it's not something that we really pushed or prompted. It's something that's happened organically over the last while. When you put the right people around the table with the right mentality and shared values, good things happen. And it's been really amazing to watch, specifically the last 2 or 3 days, how many of the founding members have come up with ideas and raised their hands saying, guys, our company does this and we are super happy to help. Our company does X and we're super happy to help. Which means that as this grows, we'll eventually have teams of tens of thousands of South Africans, building this for each other. And everybody wins at the end of the day. So to answer your question, it is, our door is open. DM me, DM Renier, get in touch with any one of the founders or founding members, and pitch ideas. We're super open to ideas, and if you can help execute on those ideas, even better. But it really is that we are very, very, very open to growing this together.
Most definitely. And just to add to that, if you can help, please do let us know. But do know that there's like 50 other people saying they can help in the certain way. So we are going to go, if we do decide to use a certain service provider, it will go through a proper process as to ability to pitch on that project or that service that we need. And we'll make preference for the founding members and companies to help there first, and then the broader public. So it will be done properly. So we're not biased or looking at exactly. And this needs to be done correctly and structured. Because I can get unstructured if we do this in a different way. Fantastic. Okay, anonymous attendee asked, the initial response and energy has been amazing. How do we keep the momentum between now and March? Well, yes, very good question. We will close off the founding membership probably in the next week or two, latest end of November, depending on which milestones we hit first. But we are not going to show everyone what gets created. So we're going to communicate, and it's going to be a build in public process. What's going to happen? What features are we going to be building? We might put things out for a vote as to what we could look for. And we're just going to communicate in a transparent way along this timeline. to a point that we have the launch in March. And then we will be setting up the first initial local events all over the world. But the initial one, yes, there's going to be a lot of communication from a build perspective. The building public strategy is quite a unique one. We have to share, even a bit of challenges that we have. So if we have a hurdle or challenge, guess what? We are going to share that. You're basically watching this network and story unfold. Grab your popcorn, enjoy it, add some banter to it if you'd like, add some other value if you'd like as well. But it's very much we're building this so that you can see how it gets created at the end of the day. Fantastic. Right, let me see if Mr. Bruce is with us. He hasn't joined just yet. I did say that once he joins, I'll allow him into the room. Fantastic.
Yeah, there was a question there that I'd love to answer around. Is the network going to be more than just the platform? And the answer is absolutely. Is it going to transcend the platform? Absolutely. We see down the line, where there are chapters in pretty much every country around the world, where we have South Africans running those chapters. And as much as we're all, digital people and understand how amazing technology can be, we're also very much understand the concept of in real life. And there's going to be a lot of real world, activity around this network. It's about people at the end of the day. The technology just connects us. That's just part of the connection, but it's about people. So a lot of it will transcend the platform. But the platform's going to be a big as well. And it's going to be interesting, and it's going to have a lot of really great functionality that's going to help build this network.
Most definitely. And just to add to the platform conversation, I've seen so many startups start these things and then build these big, beautiful apps and websites thinking they know what the members want, okay? And they'll launch it, it'll cost millions of dollars, and the members will make, or the users will only use a portion of it. We're not going to fall into the same trap, right? So the initial platform, if anything, will be an out-of-the-box software that we purchase and use, and it'll be a various amount of software plugged in to make sure that we know what our members want and don't want. Only after the first year or first 1,000 members that are using it, we will then decide what elements are needed, which ones are going to be used, and that's when we'll decide to build a custom tech, if anything, so that we don't waste money. I don't want to be in a situation that we spend a lot of money on development and get things done if we don't have the use case. So we're going to allow the members to decide what gets built later. And I think that's just the best use of everyone's, membership fees and how we can create this. And I think the final product will just be so much more beautiful if we can make sure that our members are using it correctly and things that we're only building things that are needed within that. I've had so many questions about what the platform will look like and can we contribute. We're definitely not doing anything custom until we have complete proof of concept, complete buy-in, use cases, research. So we're going to make sure that if we do invest in anything custom, it's going to be completely researched and to a point that it can be used. Fantastic. Cool. I'm going to message Bruce to see if he's going to join us. Let's see if he's in here. I think he's having a bit of tech coming. Fantastic. Let's go through one or two questions while he joins us there, Nick. Fantastic. Cool. What are the key benefits for entrepreneurs in this network? Highlight how one's business can be spotlighted. Let's go for that one.
Brilliant. So again, I'll let you answer some of this, but what I've seen, in very early on with regards to the Lekker Network, from an entrepreneurial perspective, is a couple of things. One is access to people who have done it. Whatever it is that you're trying to build, you'll have access to very, very, very successful South Africans in every corner of the world that can, from a mentor perspective, knowledge sharing perspective, help you. And we've had so many of them reach out to us, offering that. And not only that, but, as an example, Renier talked about the FMCG angle earlier. If you've got a product or you've got a brand, you've got a business, whatever it is, we know in the back end and the conversations that we've had with South Africans around the world, that there are a lot of very, very, very influential South Africans that are going to be part of this network that will be able to accelerate those businesses in different regions. So how it would work is, again, the process is something that we're going to work on. But you come to the network and you say, I've got X business and I'd really love to launch this in California. Do you know anybody in the Lekker network that could potentially help us in California? And we'll have somebody that could potentially be a dot connector that could connect you with the right person in California that could save you 5 years and accelerate your business, open all the right doors. And we know a lot of those people already. From the start of this, we've had many conversations with those types of people. So a lot of them are ready and waiting for the time where everything comes together. And you as an entrepreneur need that. And we can do the dot connecting. I remember when I had very early conversations with Renier, and he always talked about literally having a team of dot connectors within the Lekker network. That's what their role will be. Somebody will come and they will say, we've got this business and we'd really love to launch it in Mauritius. And the dot connector will literally go, okay, we know so and so in Mauritius, and we're going to have a chat to them, and we're going to see if we can do the connection. That's how we see part of the value of being an entrepreneur within the organization.
I think that was one of the key things I would have loved to see, and this is how we're going to be building out, is if there's these individuals, and it depends on what membership you have, that sit with you and really unpack your business. What do you do? How do you do it? Where do you want to grow? Who do you want to be introduced to? And to have facilitators that facilitate, hey, Jeff, please meet Samantha in the UK. She can help you get into that market. Or, play, I would say, Network Cupid, if you had to call it that, so that people can do business together. Because, when I first also started in my business, it was very hard to network. I didn't know how to do it properly, or I didn't know how to put up my hand. I had to really, put myself out there. So if we can help people also do that, it would be amazing, most definitely. All right, let's see if Bruce is here. Sorry, guys, Bruce is having a bit of tech issues, trying to come in. Let's see if we can find him. Let's go through one or two. Yeah, he's not here at the moment. Okay, let's have a look. Bruce, can you just put up your hand in the panel list so I can see you, because I can't see you now. Apologies, man. I don't see any Bruce, unfortunately. Okay, let's go through some more questions. Okay, so Neil's asking, how many businesses, how many business representatives can founding corporate members have within the actual network? So yeah, good question. At the moment, our corporate memberships only come with one founding membership at the moment. We will have obviously different tiers later on, but we want to try and make sure that the corporates, they do just come with one founding membership. We have actually finalized our corporate memberships as it stands. We have all our corporates that have come in. There is a bit of a waiting list, and if one or two can't come into the actual network, but yeah, I mean, the corporates have really come together and really helped us. I must say. So we're going to, and Neil, for now, it'll just be one corporate, one member for now. And just looking at going into the future, we will have company kind of stuff that people can enjoy with multiple members. So we will make sure that that's available 100%. So Bruce, I can't see your hand. Apologies. I just see Milesh, Johan Cohen, and Madeline raising their hands. Is that one of you, perhaps? Sorry, guys. We're having a bit of a tech issue here with Bruce coming on, and his name is not being featured. Okay, I'm going to ask everyone to lower their hands, and I'm going to ask Bruce then to now raise your hand again. So, Bruce, you are a different individual, but let's make him panelist. Milesh, can you hear us?
Hi, guys. Hi, Nic. Hi, Renier.
Milesh, I thought this was Bruce. Apologies, but yes, go for your question. You can ask it live now.
Okay, I'm really glad that you're able to hear me. I'm sitting in my car. and you can hear me loud and clear.
Loud and clear,
Yeah.
loud and clear.
Okay, I think we talked on the phone a while back.
Yes.
Okay, I'm sitting in Durban, and I'm really grateful for what you and Nic have put together. It's an amazing, amazing way to integrate business and network. So my question, just I know I have a few seconds. So quickly, my question is that, firstly, I am sitting in Durban. There is a lot of opportunity here with regards to networking. And secondly, my question is there an option to integrate with the Lekker Network as a man in the street? So I am just like that, a man in the street. I don't have the facilities to buy that membership. I think we talked on the phone.
Yes.
But the networking opportunity is available, and I
Most
wanted
definitely.
to know.
Most definitely. Well, that's a great question. We're going to try and make this as accessible as possible. When we launch, we're going to have opportunities because we don't want to close the network. This is not I don't want to have this as a network that, yes, people have done amazing things in business, but it's a closed, you can't access them. I want to make sure that we have opportunities that members can meet each other. As also Nic said, there are going to be various tiers, and it will be available to everyone, man on the street, woman on the street, and we'll try and make it as accessible as possible. And then also try and have maybe some of our corporates to sponsor memberships into the network. I think that's going to be key as well. But thanks very much. Appreciate the Milish. Great. We are going to take one or two live questions, guys. Raise your hand if you want to come and chat while we wait for Bruce to figure out his tech that side. If you want to ask a live question, just raise your hand. We'll allow you to speak, or you can go and put it into the Q&A. All right, we've got Samantha. Samantha, I'm going to bring you online. There we go. Hello, Samantha. How are you doing?
I'm not sure where Samantha comes from, but it's Leon on the line, so I'm not sure how that happened.
Your name is Samantha on here, but see you, Leon.
I'm quite connected, as you can see, but in any case,
Yes.
just a joke. Just a question from our side. So obviously we've joined as a co-founder, but I've got a partner as well. Can I also add him to the WhatsApp group and to the group, or how does that work? Or is it only one member that can be a founder, we paid for one membership, or how does that work? So I would like to add my partner to it as well.
Yeah. So for now, if you've purchased a founding membership, it'll just be one person for that founding membership, just to try and make sure that the group is contained to the people that have come in. If your partner would like to become a founding member, he's also welcome to come on and then purchase one of those founding memberships. But we're not gonna have 2 for 1 at the moment, because we don't have too many cooks in the kitchen to start with. Yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks, Leon. Cool. Let's see. I think Samantha's got her hand raised now. Let's allow her. Samantha.
Hi, it's Louise. It's not Samantha. I think
I don't know
the
what's happening
setting
with you today. It's like this crazy. Just your names are so different.
I know. It's okay. It's all good. So I'd love us to obviously get going as soon as possible, because obviously when you have momentum in a business, that's what you want to take advantage of. So I know that we're going to be connecting in March, but for those of us who have services that we could help each other, help us launch, how do we articulate that without making the WhatsApp groups messy and without waiting for the connecting platform for it to be connected? Do we have a connection meeting once a week? Do we collaborate? Do we what's the best way? Because I mean, there's a lot of people out there that it's like you said, it's perfect timing in order for us to be able to, for example, I've got positions that I need to help find people. I've got my recruitment firm. I can help you with some of my good skills that I have on board. So you never know. I mean, we all want to, yes.
No worries. Fantastic question. We're going to make sure that that gets now built out as well. Exactly where members can engage with each other. As I said in the beginning, the initial WhatsApp group now is for the founding members to engage. But then also, if you see someone that has a LinkedIn link, go and connect with them. Go and message them. Go and start that conversation as well. Our group at the moment has a non-solicitation clause, so you're not directly selling because it can get intense. But then nothing stops with you meeting founding members in your own time as well. Get onto a call or onto a meeting. You have access to that information, and then we will have certain opportunities and certain things that we can do in the next kind of few months. But we still have to build that out. We don't exactly know how that's going to look, but fantastic. We have Bruce here. All right, awesome. Let's get into this. Bruce, I'm going to allow you. I'm going to promote you to panelist. Here comes Bruce. He's now Madeline at the moment. I don't know what's happening with Zoom today, guys. Bruce, can you hear us?
I can hear you, absolutely. Madeline Henstra is my weekend name, clearly, because I don't know how you found out. I really don't know how you found out. So, yes, I've been hiding in disguise.
Hiding. Zoom is having a day today. How are you doing? It's good to see you.
My apologies for being a little obtuse, but yeah, hello everyone. Sorry to have been late. I've been watching and shouting at Zoom, and eventually, if you shout at tech hard enough, it works. But you know what? I've been listening to you guys and absolutely loving the conversation, and thank you for doing this. And the moment I saw this, I think it must have been on LinkedIn or Nicked in, Nick, when I saw this launch of the Lekker Network, and I in those days still had a radio show, and so immediately put Nick onto the radio and said, "What is this thing?" And he wasn't quite sure then either. But it's wonderful how it has gathered momentum and how there is so much appetite for connection around the world. There's so many organizations around the world that are industry specific or are chambers of commerce and a little bit stuffy and a little bit old school. And this is using the wonders of tech, of South Africans who want to be connected with one another in a way that is mutually supportive, which I think is enormously, enormously exciting. And yes, good to be finally connected, whatever my name is.
Fantastic. Bruce, it's been, since you come on board, it's been phenomenal. I mean, your support's been amazing. And I have one or two questions for you. And I think some of the members have to know, why did you say yes to becoming an ambassador for this? What was that reasoning?
Why would you not is really, I suppose, the better question, because here we've got this wonderful diaspora, and I wrote a book about it a couple of years ago, Genius, How to Take Smart Ideas Global, all about South African success stories, all about the people who have done remarkable things around the world, people who have taken their ideas, taken their IP, taken their concepts, and globalized their ideas into a vacuum, frankly. And I think so many more could have succeeded had there been a mutual support network. And I just look at the wondrous things that smaller companies are doing nowadays and the mutual support networks that they've sort of developed for themselves. So whether it be Nick Dreyer at Veldskun and the Williams family with Rolex, for example, setting up in the same distribution park in Atlanta in the United States, just to be there for each other. You always need a good pair of shoes when you're using a Rolex, of course, because you can chop your toes off if you don't have them. But it's just this wonderful idea that these, it's no longer just about the Investix and the 91s and the Nandos and all of those big guys. These are family enterprises, these are private enterprises that are looking for new markets. They're taking superlative products that deserve a broader audience and are taking them worldwide. And it speaks to a deep belief and a passion that I have about South Africa and South Africans, in that we box above our weight constantly, no matter where we go. And I want to be part of, can we call it a cult? No, it's not a cult. It's a collection of people who are like-minded, who are hungry, who are never going to say never to a problem. And where there are problems, and we love problems because we tend to find solutions to those problems, we're not, we don't wear the Eeyore hat of the Winnie the Pooh stories. You go to so many parts of the world where they go, oh, computer says no, or whatever the case is. We go, computer says no, good, throw away the computer, let's do this. And in we go and find solutions to real world problems. And it's one of the reasons that South Africa is as remarkable as it is.
Ah, phenomenal. Yeah, completely resonate with that, Bruce. And I guess, I wanted to ask, what is your one wish for us? What is your one vision that you'd like us to see in the next kind of few years?
You mean my one thing? Sorry, this camera is misbehaving. So look at that. Nic, where's your... Oh, Nic doesn't have one. That's fine. Now we know who's on site. So at the end of June, I stepped down from a radio show to 20 years and working on another project of a phenomenal South African startup and writing the book on it with a man called Professor Adrian Saville at Gibbs. And we are telling the story of this great South African startup, which I've got to be careful how much I disclose at this stage because it's early stages. But we needed regulatory approval in order to get the information we needed to start the process of writing the book. And that didn't come through as quickly as we would have hoped. So I was stuck with 6 extra hours a day and WhatsApped 120 people, 100 of whom came back. And I said to them, what is your vision for the future? What if you could be president for just half an hour?
Yeah.
And you could do just one thing. What would that one thing be? I got more than 100 replies from people.
Beautiful.
And as Wayne Devenhage said to me in a post on LinkedIn, he went, "Oh, Bruce Whitfield's got a new book out. Cheeky bugger didn't even write it himself." So if it goes to a second edition, those will be the cover words. But it was just the sheer power and the momentum of South Africans and that never say die attitude that I wanted to encapsulate in a book that would then drive the renewed sense of optimism that was reflected when Mteto Nyati, the chairman of Eskom, came to the launch of the book. And I said to him, what was the one thing that you did? What was the one thing that you did that encapsulated the hope and opportunity that South Africa represents? And why did you take the job? All of these various things. And he came up with a beautiful quote. And it is, when you treat people as if they're stupid, they're never going to disappoint you. And I think we've lost our sense of national self-confidence and over, the dark years post 2008, and we're starting to regain a sense of self-belief. We're starting to regain that sense of belief that we can operate as global players and that we are not the sum total of the worst of us, but we can be the sum total of the best of us. And if we work together, collaborate, join together and form a network that is mutually supportive, that is mutually beneficial, I think we can have a huge and positive impact on the world.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. Bruce, any advice you have for our members or future members? Any key advice that you can give us?
Yeah, what's the old line? If you go fast, you go alone. If you want to go far, go together. I fundamentally believe that to be true. Collaboration is hard, particularly across geographies, but it is about finding people who you can trust. And at least when you go into a new place, you don't know who to talk to. You don't know who you can trust. And the wonderful thing about South Africa being a relatively small, certainly business community, is you'll always know somebody who knows you and can either vouch for you or say, oh, watch out, this one's a little bit dangerous. I remember that one from school, used to steal all the tuck money or whatever the case is. And you go in at least with your eyes wide open. And when it comes to a network like this, it is a network of people, and there will be probably 2 or 3 degrees of separation between many of the members and many of the people who look to support and provide assistance here. And I think that provides trust. It provides a level of greater certainty when you go into working together. So, let's not be foolish about this. There will always be charlatans who try to jump on each other's coattails. And you've got to be cautious about it. But by having a network of people that you can check out and be part of, who speak the same language as you, and language is not one of the 12 official languages, it's a South Africanness of language. The unspoken language, I think, is a powerful thing, and use it and give to it as well. Absolutely. Essentially, it's better to give than receive in this particular instance.
Oh, beautiful. Couldn't have said it better. Bruce, thank you so much. Guys, if you haven't gone and gotten yourself a copy.
I insist on being called Madeline. I'm sorry. If I'm going to come on here as Madeline, I demand to be called Madeline. But yes,
my business. She's also one of the co-founders of the Lekker Network. Madeline / Bruce, thank you very much. Guys, if you haven't gone and got yourself a copy of Bruce's book, do yourself a favor. This is amazing. I'm halfway through and mind-blowing. Thank you, Bruce. Appreciate that. And Bruce also got a fantastic podcast out, guys, The Art of Deciding. Go check out his website. Really, he had a session with the creator of Jack Reacher, and a fantastic episode. Go check that out as well. Thanks, Bruce. Nic, this has been quite a phenomenal, just session, guys. We still have 150 odd people here. I think it's been a great uptake. I know we didn't get to everyone's questions. You are welcome to send them directly to me on LinkedIn or via WhatsApp or email, whatever communication you have. I've dedicated my next month or two to make sure that I try and answer as many as possible. If I don't get to everyone, I do apologize. One or two might fall through the cracks. Just have patience with me. I am just human. I do have an assistant that is helping me, but I'll try my very level best to get back to every single person as best as I can. Nic, anything from your side?
It's just been absolutely incredible, and the first of many. And I think that's what makes this afternoon so special, is that this is the first of many, many, many webinars and events and sessions. And I can't wait to do this again this time next year, having built the Lekker Network for a solid year, and to see, one thing that we didn't mention, and Renier, maybe you want to talk about it just for 1 minute, is how we're going to measure impact, and how. Yes. Yeah, maybe you just want to quickly elaborate on that.
So since the beginning of this, I've had a big dream to measure as much impact as this has in local terms, international terms. So what we're doing is we're having an impact tracker within the network. If a referral is made, if business is done, if people are hired because of the network, people are going to start tracking it. I think as it stands, we've already had about, 10 South Africans hired, just because of members doing business with each other. And we want to create that space that people can do that, but track this so that in the next year, 2, 3, maybe 10 years, we can sit here and say we've done R1 billion in economy. We've hired thousands of people through the connections that's happened. It's a big dream of mine to have a big impact, but to track it. Yes, it might be not completely accurate. There might be things that get missing or things that don't happen, but we're going to ask our members to try and track it as best as possible, to put into our impact tracker, and then to showcase this to potential people that want to help us, to say this is the impact that this is having, and why you should be involved. So I think that's going to be a big part of this, is to track that on the ground impact. How many people are actually being hired through this? I mean, how beautiful is that? Yeah, fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Concludes our first webinar, meet and greet, Q&A. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for being here. We can't do this without you. We are merely the executioners to actually get this to market. We can't do this without everyone's support, and really appreciate it. It's very humbling. It's a privilege to be in this position to be the voice for everyone and for the network, and to try and get there. So thank you. We're very honored to help create this. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone. Cheers. Cheers for now. Bye.